Hi, I'm Ellie Werthman,
I'm Joanna Baker.
and we're going to be talking about the appointment of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh and whether the actions people make in high school, they should be held accountable for them.
So I think that if you commit a wrong action in high school, even though you're still a minor, it's important to hold you accountable for that, because especially with things like sexual harassment or sexual assault, those are very serious crimes and they cause a lot of trauma to the victim.
I agree with the fact that if somebody sexually assaults somebody in high school, obviously that's something that they need repercussions for, but I do think there's also a lot of stuff that came up with this Brett Kavanaugh nomination and appointment, such as drinking in high school and maybe not having the best morals, obviously besides the actual sexual assault, but just more of a party mentality. And I don't necessarily think that somebody should be permanently labeled as that type of person, because people change a lot, and high school is a place where people should not be the most mature they ever are. Like, people are supposed to mature as life goes on, and that's what we hope people are doing. And so I think it's important to recognize that people are maturing as they get older.
I think for people in high school, a lot of people think that it's an excuse to be immature. And while it's okay to, have a fun time in high school, I think that especially if the career you're going for is one of the highest government positions, it's important that even in high school, you make sure to sort of have self-control and not do things that are out of hand, because these kind of things should have repercussions, I think.
I think also, though, that people learn self-control, and sometimes in order to learn self-control, you have to go a little out of control just to learn boundaries. And so I think that there are definitely lines, and they've become really blurry on some aspects, but I do think that there are certain things that we shouldn't necessarily be like, oh, this person did this in high school, so they're therefore a bad person. Because I felt during the Senate hearings and when they were interviewing Kavanaugh, they focused a lot on the drinking aspect of it and whether or not he was a drinker in high school. And I think that that was a fair part of it, because that was something that happened that night. But I also think everybody in Washington, all politicians, they're social people. They're going out for drinks with each other. They're going out for drinks with lobbyists. It's not necessarily if somebody's a drinker, it's not necessarily a sign of the type of person they are. It's and there's obviously always exceptions to that. I'm not saying being a drunk is good, but I also think that during the investigation too, they focused too heavily on that, when I think as a citizen, I would have liked to know more about the type of person Brett was, or Mr. Kavanaugh was, outside of that, and sort of more what happened and his track record during that time. So I was frustrated with the investigation for both him and Dr. Ford.
I agree. So yeah, we agree that some actions in high school don't need to be punished, but others should.